right, hello everyone. I know you cannot see me. I am here, I promise. Here I am. We've had to modify it a little bit today just because we are doing our armchair travels, and today we are going to Iceland. I personally have never been to Iceland, but while I was going through making this presentation, it's on my list. It is pretty neat, so I thought we would spend the next little while. It's not a huge presentation, maybe about 20 or so slides, and we'll go through and we'll just kind of see what Iceland has to offer. Okay, so even though I am here, you can't see me, which is lucky for you because you might get sick of seeing me all the time. All right, here we go. So it says Iceland sits on a constant source of friction with the movement of two major tectonic plates beneath our feet. Volcanism is a major part of the landscape, hence the fire part of the nickname, fire and ice. The ice part comes from the Iceland's 269 glaciers that cover roughly 11% of the whole world. So look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Isn't that incredible? Just, you know, Iceland's nickname is fire and ice, the city or the land of fire and ice. And that's pretty clear why. And it's interesting that at the very bottom, you can see it, I'll see if I can get my hand in here. Way down here at the bottom of Iceland is actually where the capital is. You would think the capital might be in the middle or something, but this one is at the very bottom. I'm sorry, I'm going to butcher some words here. Reykjavik is the capital city of Iceland. 60% of the population of Iceland lives in this city. Take a look at this picture, ladies and gentlemen. What an amazing picture. I don't know if it's been enhanced. It didn't say when I found it, but just look at it. Look at the mountains, look at the ocean, look at the different color roofs on the houses and the buildings, and the architecture and the green kind of grass and stuff in the back, and the trees coming up everywhere. It looks so beautiful. It was one of my favorites, that's my favorite picture, one of my favorite pictures of Iceland that I found. So here's just another one. It's the same town. It's still Reykjavik. It's just a little bit closer, so you can see a little bit closer of the town and some more of the buildings. It looks like there's a couple churches in the back there. But look at that backdrop. Isn't that amazing? It's just so stunning. If I lived in Iceland, I have to admit I would probably like to spend most of my time sitting by that ocean and just looking at that mountain. That is just incredible. All right, this is a picture. It is actually the Blue Lagoon, which is a thermal spa in a lava field just outside of the city of Reykjavik. It doesn't really look like it's a spa of anything, but it is. It's actually a heated spa. And it's the lava rocks that actually, like the heat from the lava rocks makes it warm and makes it a spa. So when you get into the water, it's very natural, it's warm. You can actually swim outdoors every single day if you wanted to in Iceland because of this. So it says you can swim outdoors in hot springs all year round. An Icelandic experience is not complete without a dip in a hot spring. The outdoor experience of bathing outdoors in volcanically heated pools dates back to the Viking times. That's pretty neat. The hot springs can be found all around the country and come in all sizes and shapes. Be sure to keep your eyes peeled and your bathing suit ready in close reach. You don't want to miss out on this experience. I know in British Columbia, I don't know if it's from volcanic rocks or lava rocks or anything, but I do know that we do have, like Harrison Hot Springs, we do have a hot spring there. I should look into it a little bit more and see, but it would be pretty neat to see. the different things. So imagine in the middle of Christmas, in the middle of December, you and your family are going to go down and join in a swim in a nice heated natural hot spring. It would be pretty interesting. All right, so these are two rocks that have some pretty neat looks on them. It kind of looks like faces. And it says many Icelanders believe in elves, trolls, and other mystical creatures that trace back to the Viking Age. The stories are plentiful, so be sure to set some time aside to speak to the Icelander to hear a tale or two. So Iceland, their culture, a lot of them still believe that there's little fairies and trolls and things like that. I'm not sure where it comes from. I tried to find it. I was unable to really find the reason behind it. But I do know that over 300,000 people still believe in these. So that's pretty neat. And this is just a picture. As you go through the countryside in Iceland, you will see these tiny little houses places. And this is their elf holes or houses and their fairy homes and all kinds of little things. They call them hidden people. So they don't necessarily call them elves or trolls or fairies, but they're hidden people. And they still believe they exist, which is kind of neat. It sounds crazy at first, but then we also, all of the different cultures have things we believe in. Our culture here in Canada, we have the Tooth Fairy, we have an Easter Bunny, so you can kind of see how it's neat to have these little things that you can keep going with, right? All right, this one I thought was really neat. I didn't realize what this was until I read it. So these are tectonic plates seen in Iceland. The only other place to see these plates above the ground is in Africa. Each year they move 2 centimeters apart. So these two plates that we're looking at, it doesn't really look like a plate, but right here and right here, those two big rock structures are what's under the ground. And when they start shaking and moving, those plates are what causes earthquakes and volcanoes and stuff. So I thought that was pretty neat to see above ground, because normally they're always underground, right? So it's a pretty rare occasion to see that. And you can still see some snow up there. All right. Iceland was recently ranked Iceland was recently ranked one of the eco-friendliest countries in the world. And since almost all of the electricity in Iceland is produced using renewable energy sources, it's easy to see why. The capital city of Reykjavik won the Nordic Nature Environment Prize in 2014 and is working towards a goal of being a carbon neutral city by 2040. That is incredible, and I really hope that Canada and the other countries kind of follow suit with that, because I think that's definitely a way that we have to go, and we need to get there. So I would assume that they're using a lot of water for electric and all that kind of stuff. This one shows an Icelandic turf house. So this is another way for them to actually be pretty eco-friendly. It actually occurred where the product of a difficult climate, offering superior insulation compared to buildings solely made out of wood or stone, and relatively difficult in obtaining other construction materials in sufficient quantities. So building on lava rocks, sorry, that was supposed to say rocks, also helped heat the home for no cost, very eco-friendly. So when you have those warm rocks already underneath your house, you're really going to get that heat, right? It might get a little too warm sometimes. I know for me personally, I like to have a cooler house. So I would definitely have to have an air conditioner, but during the winter months, it would be amazing to be able to sit there and not have to have your heat on. You're just nice and comfortable and keeping it good for the environment. And I thought it was really neat that they have the actual grass just going right up on their roofs. It's really neat to see that. I bet you that insulation really does work, right? You're not going to get much wind blowing through there or anything. The only concern I would have with that is that maybe, and I don't even know, but if it's a lot of rain and it kind of sits on your roof, if it would do any damage or anything like that, I'm not sure. But they've perfected it, I'm sure, after all these years. So it says an interesting fact about Iceland is that on average, Icelanders work 45 hours a week. So it's longer than any other country in Europe. Now in Canada, maybe the United States, our work weeks are usually about 40. I'm lucky here at Senior Support, we do about 35 hours a week. My husband works in a steel factory, so he varies. He probably does about 45 hours a week, I would think, maybe a little bit more some days. So it's interesting to see the different expectations for cultures and stuff. So on average, men are about 47 hours a week is what they work. Women about 37. So we're pretty average for the women, I think, in our hours here. Working Icelanders have a minimum of 24 days of paid leave a year. And in addition, they also benefit from 13 public holidays. They take the most common time for Icelanders to take their holidays is July and August. So this must be taken into consideration when planning business trips to Iceland. At those times, businesses slow down, just like at Christmas and Easter time. I would gladly work 37 to 47 hours a week to get almost a month vacation. That's pretty incredible. Plus those 13 public holidays that they get off. So they might work more hours, but they seem to get a little bit more benefits and stuff like that than we might traditionally get here in Canada. I thought this was really neat. Iceland went through prohibition of beer, which began in 1915 and ended in 1989. Can you imagine? That's not that long ago, ladies and gentlemen. After a referendum vote by the population, now every March 1st, the country celebrates Björgadagurinn, or Beer Day, commemorating the end of a 74-year beer ban. Wow. I knew that we had a little bit of the prohibition, and I know that we weren't always able to get alcohol maybe on Sundays and things like that. But it was really interesting to me that they were able to have some alcohol, but not beer. So I got looking into why, and the next slide will kind of show you. So it says when the full prohibition became law over 100 years ago, alcohol was was frowned upon, and beer was especially out of favor for political reasons. Iceland was engaged in a struggle for independence from Denmark at the time, and the Icelanders strongly associated beer with Danish lifestyles. So something like that was big enough to really change the whole face of Iceland when it came to alcohol. They could have wine, they could have other things, but that beer, they really thought that was more of a Danish lifestyle, right? So they didn't want anything to do with the Danish at that point. So it was interesting. So now you can see them celebrating on Beer Day. All right. Look at that picture. Doesn't that look amazing? I read that the bluer, like over here, I'm not sure if you'll be able to see my finger in there, but over here where it's more blue is actually the older the ice. So as the glacier is going, when you're seeing those really bright blue colors, it goes to show you the age behind the glacier, which I thought was really, really neat. So it says, studies show that 11% of the country of Iceland is covered by glaciers. Glaciers are one of the main attractions in Iceland, and to date there are almost 269 named glaciers. Iceland is also home to Europe's largest glacier, which is Vatnajökull, which is equivalent to 1.5 times the size of PEI. So this just kind of gives us some stats about this amazing glacier. So I'll just let you enjoy that for a minute. The stats are impressive. It covers an area of 7,900 kilometers squared, and at its thickness averages around 380 to 400 meters. And that was the closest, like the most recent stats I could find, and that was for June 27th, 2019. So you may not be able to tell, but this little blob, sorry, it looks clearer on your screen. This little blob right here is actually a boat. So it goes to show you the size of that boat. It does look like a relatively small boat, but it is a boat nonetheless. So it really shows you how amazing and huge that glacier is. I have a question, ladies and gents. If you were in that boat, how close do you think you are to that? Because I mean, that's got to be a fair distance. And would you be nervous? I feel like I would be nervous. What if all of a sudden it looked like it was going to break or something? You know? It'd be really neat. All right, our next one, there are 3 national colors of the Iceland that also appear on the country's flag, and they represent the elements that the land is made up of. The volcanic fires are represented by the color red, white for the snow, and blue for the ocean. I think as far as flags go, I think that's a pretty good symbolizing of, like, symbol of their land, right? Like, I know in Canada we have the red and white, which is lovely. It's nice to see that there's a lot of meaning in behind people's flags and countries' flags. All right. So this horse here is the Icelandic horse, has played a very important role in Iceland's history. They are believed to be one of the purest breeds in the world and are known for their muscular bodies and their abilities to grow long hair in the winter and shorter hair in the summer. Icelandic horses can be found all around the country and are known to be both friendly and curious. It's the only horse breed in Iceland, which I thought was really neat, that it's the only horse breed. I mean, in Canada, we have a lot of different ones, and it would be nice to, if we had that ability to keep our hair short in the summer and grow long in the winter. I could really use that. We could also save some money on haircuts. So it's pretty neat, and they're just beautiful, majestic animals. Now here's one thing you might recognize. These are the Northern Lights, or the Aurora Borealis. It's a pretty spectacular sight. I grew up in British Columbia, so we did see them on occasion at nighttime, and not very often, but I did see them once or twice, I think, growing up. So it says, many travelers are attracted to Iceland as its spectacular destination to experience the Aurora Borealis Northern Lights. September to March is the best time for this natural light show. Although, of course, it's never a guarantee, this incredible natural occurrence is created with solar particles interact with the atmosphere in the Earth's magnetic field. Isn't science cool? Look at that, eh? And it just makes the most amazing light show. And right around this time, we put up all our lights for Christmas and the different holidays, and yet here Mother Nature puts on the best light display for all of us, if we're lucky enough to see them. Look at the colors, the teals and the aquas and the purples and the pinks, and just amazing. All right, we're almost done here. So this one is, the Icelanders love to play sports, including football, basketball, volleyball, horseback riding. But the national sport of Iceland is actually handball. The game is played between 2 teams consisting of 7 players in a rectangular field, and the objective of the game is to score by driving the ball into the opposing net. After 60 minutes, the team with the most goals wins. Icelanders love to play and watch handball, and in 2008, the national team took home a silver medal at the Olympics in Beijing. I think that's pretty admirable, and I didn't fully understand handball I want to say it's kind of like lacrosse, but with your hand. I could be wrong. If any of you know or have played handball, let us know. That would be wonderful. Because it is something that I am not familiar with. And I had to try and find the one where they were kind of showing us what they were doing, but it didn't turn out as great. All right. Thank you for traveling with me, ladies and gentlemen, and being my travel buddy on this trip to Iceland. I hope you were able to learn something new about Iceland, and maybe it kind of got your juices flowing a little bit about wanting to travel if you were able to. Maybe you've traveled to Iceland before, and there's some things that you think we should see or speak about. Leave a comment and let us know. I think it's really important, at least for me, and I'm trying to instill it in my daughter, that we live in this amazing world with so many things and so many possibilities that we should really try and get out there and see them. So far, the only place I've been to in Europe is Italy. I absolutely loved it. I do some traveling, more so towards the Caribbean. But after looking at this, when I was doing the slideshow for Iceland, I think I really want to go to Iceland. I think it would be amazing to swim in those lava spas, or not the lava spas, but the lava rock spas, and see all those, you know, the volcanoes. Hopefully they will not erupt or anything when I'm there, but just to see the different culture, and, you know, maybe go find a little journey and find some elf houses or fairy houses or anything like that. I think it would be spectacular, and it's really opened my eyes to wanting to see a little bit more, and it's definitely going to be on my list. All right, so ladies and gents, tomorrow we do not have anything posted, but on Friday we are going to do some cooking with Christy. So we are going to be making a one-person cup, like a bowl of soup. So we're actually going to make some soup, and it's going to be perfect if you have just your spouse and yourself. You can double it and we'll make it for two. Or if you're just by yourself, sometimes it's really hard to find some recipes and stuff by yourself. So we will cook together and see how it tastes, okay? We will see you Friday morning for Christy's boot camp at 10 o'clock. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.